President of the United Nations of Guyana. A big round of applause for His Excellency President Mohamed Fanali. A round of applause for His Excellency President Mohamed Comrades, I ask you to remain standing as we listen to the national anthem of the Republic of Guyana. Thank you very much. Yeah, that's it. Comrades, again, let me wish each and every one of you a blessed afternoon as we are here gathered for this event, as we will be listening to the various members of this head table. Again, let me thank you for making that special effort to be here this afternoon. I know it was not easy. Let me introduce to you, firstly, our minister within the Ministry of Housing, Honorable Minister Susan Rodriguez. Let's give a big round of applause for the minister within the Ministry of Housing.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon. Allow me to please acknowledge His Excellency President Ali, my cabinet, colleagues, Regional Chairman, Vice Chair, REO, regional officials, agency staff who are joining us, and of course, Albion. We're so happy to be here with you this afternoon. Thank you so much for coming out, all of you. We've had a rainy day today, but everyone has turned out and showed their love and support for President Ali and for the People's Progressive Party civic government. We appreciate your support over the years. We appreciate the confidence that you have instilled in us, and we have spent the last 4.5 years ensuring that we honor the trust and the confidence that you have placed in us and in this party. And the progress that we have seen in this short time has never been seen before in any period in our country's history. And the progress is undeniable because it is visible all across the length and breadth of this country. It is visible in every community. It is visible to every segment of our community. And the best part is it has been inclusive as we build the One Guyana and as we build on the initiative of His Excellency to unite our people and to include all of you into the development and transformation of your communities and our country. You know, the opposition sometimes, well, oftentimes criticizes our infrastructure program. They say people can't eat roads. But they forget that when we come to these meetings, that the number one issue used to be the state of the roads in communities. And so our infrastructure program has been a result of the requests from these community meetings that we have continuously been having over the period that we've been in government. They also forget that these infrastructure works are being done by the people who live in these communities, creating thousands of jobs which people lost oftentimes between the 2015 to 2020 period, a period that was characterized by neglect, broken promises, failed leadership, lack of vision, and lack of respect for the people of this country. And that is why it is so important to us in this party that when we make commitments, that we honor them. Our word is our bond, and we take that very seriously. That is the collateral in politics. That's the collateral, trust. So that when we go to communities, people can report to us about the progress that they've seen. We don't have to report on the accomplishments. Many times people tell us what has taken place in their communities, and they express gratitude in knowing that they raised these issues and that we responded. In the housing sector, it's no different. We've seen remarkable progress. When we were told we had to deliver 50,000 house lots by President Ali, it seemed like an impossible task, but we did it. And today, as I speak to you, we have already allocated 43,000 house lots, and we will surpass the 50,000 house lot target that we set ourselves. Here in Region 6, we will be returning in less than 2 weeks on the 25th and 26th of April. We will be returning to deliver another 1,600 house lots to the people of this region who still have pending applications. And that is on top of the 2,200 allocations that we've made already in this region, in the new housing areas, Ordnance, Fortlands, Williamsburg, Hampshire, number 76, number 79, and then we have one of the newer developments at Palmyra, which is not only for housing development, but which will undergo an amazing transformation that you will hear some of my other colleagues speak about. So when we talk about inclusivity, it's not just only about race or religion and including everybody. It's ensuring that all of the regions feel a part of this economic transformation, feel a part of the diversification of the economy. So Region 6, when the new bridge is built, people will come more often, will open up more economic opportunity. You must feel like you are included in all of the excitement that usually goes on in Region 4 or that is concentrated in Region 4 will spread to this region. In the water sector, we've seen similar transformation. We are building a new water treatment plant at Adventure. We have a water treatment plant at Port Morant and one at New Amsterdam, and these have been rehabilitated and expanded. We are modernizing and improving the transmission network to deliver clean, safe, treated water to all the people who live on the coast here in Region 6. We've also completed almost completed, by the middle of this year, we will complete those projects, 6 smaller treatment plants in several communities that will see improved access to treated water. So in the water sector, we have you covered as well. So Region 6, I want us to thank you, like I started out, for your support over this time. And I can tell you that you can never go wrong with the People's Progressive Party Civic. Many will come. Many will come and you don't know what you will get. And they can't even come up with things on their own. If you listen to the opposition and the surrogates, all they're doing is promising on top of the things that we have already committed to doing or have already completed. Nothing new. There's no new ideas. Nothing new that they have to offer you to improve your life. If we give a cash grant of 100,000, they say we can give you 200,000. If we give the school children something, we can get the school children double that. That's all they're doing. Just piggybacking on the work that we have already been doing. And we were talking about trust a minute ago. But you can't listen to people who, when they had a chance, just 4 years ago, 4.5 years ago, when they had a chance, they squandered it. They disrespected people. They broke all their promises. So the time for chance is finished. We want to hear about chance. This time is too important. This period that our country is going through right now, this transformation that we have started, this engine that is going, we can't stop it now. We can't stop the progress now. And now is not a chance to gamble. We can't gamble with our future. We can't gamble with the future of our children for people who come and dangle sparkly things, fancy things in front of our eyes. This is serious. When you go to the polls later on in this year, it is serious business. You know that. It's critical, and therefore you have to make the right choice. And this is not a chance, this is not a time for taking chances, but putting your confidence yet again next to the handsome face of His Excellency, and the well-known symbol of the cup. And the cup runneth over, and it has been running over for the past few years, and it will continue to overflow. And you will see the continued transformation in your lives and in the lives of your children, because the decisions that we make today will affect you tomorrow and next year and long into the future. So we have to make the right choices now. Are you with me? We together? Thank you very much, everybody, and I will hand the microphone now to my colleague, Bishop Juan Edgel, for his remarks.
Thank you very much, Minister Rodriguez, President Ali, my cabinet colleagues, Chairman, Vice Chair, REO, other regional officials. When I came into Albion here, and I see the setup, and I see all of you here, it reminded me that when we came here, November 2024, 2 o'clock in the afternoon when the Vice President was here, when we initiated something that I think is so transformational. We awarded hundreds of contracts to ordinary people to get on with infrastructural development in our region. Last year, we engaged in 621 contracts in terms of road works in the region. But let me explain that to you, because you might be saying 621 people get work. Every one of those contracts, let's say for the sake of argument, because sometimes it was more, they had to hire 5 persons. Every contractor had to hire a canter to transport their materials to site. They had to buy farm board from the sawmill. They had to buy BRC from the hardware. They had to get sand, so the truckmen brought sand. Then they had to get concrete, and the ready-mix people came and poured the concrete. You know why I'm going that way? To tell you that just between November and 31st of March, more than 5,000 jobs were created by that initiative. And what does that also mean? $12 billion circulating in the economy, going to the hardware, paying workers, workers going to the market and shop, the people who are selling greens getting things, entertainment centers getting opportunities. So while that is being done and infrastructure is being taken care of, the economy, the circulation of the money in the communities is what is making a difference and improving the lives of people. I'm certain even the worst critic of the PPPC, if he wants to be true or she wants to be true to their conscience, would admit that they have benefited immensely from the PPPC from 2020 until now. And let me tell you why. Because when the government rolls out goods and services, we don't do it only for some people, we do it for all the people. So could you understand some of the same people who are criticizing the grant have already collected theirs first, and then they start criticizing it. They made sure they secured theirs, and then they criticize. Or they try to throw water on the fire, so to speak. I don't know of another time when the welfare of the Guyanese people have been addressed in such a manner like it is being addressed. Improvement for our schools. Improvement in the delivery of education in the schools because all the teachers are being trained. Improvement in the children's welfare attending school. They get their school uniform, and they get the Be Cosby Care grant. I think sometime in May that grant starts to pay out. And this year we are fulfilling our promise of $50,000 per child, private and public school, plus 5,000 uniform grant assistance. I don't know of another time when our pensioners are getting the volume of what they're having, when people with disabilities are benefiting the way they're benefiting, when the training opportunities that exist, and a lot of those training opportunities exist right in your neighborhood here between Albion and Port Moran for the various trainings and developments that are taking place. Opportunities abound in Guyana. And this is what is important because the naysayers would like to say the government is a handout government. Well, listen to this. Every time we give a child a scholarship or a young woman a scholarship, it's an opportunity for a wealth creation that you have given. Because when you get an education, the sky is the limit. You can do whatever you want to do from there. When we give a single mother an opportunity to become a contractor and do her own work and earning her own money, it's not a handout. She's working with dignity because there's dignity in work, but she's beginning a process of moving forward in her economic advancement with pride and dignity, knowing that the future is much brighter than it is right now. So every time the 17,000 plus women out of the 43,000 plus house lots that have been given get their title in their land, the pride and that sense of security and ownership is being transferred to thousands of people. And it makes a big difference of how they live, how they think, and how they plan for their future. So if there's any time that Guyanese people need to sober up and think constructive about their political interests and ensuring that the right team, the right leaders are in place to ensure Guyana's development, the time is now and the choice is clear. Mohammed Irfan Ali, His Excellency, and Team PPPC to continue to usher Guyana into the next level of development. You know, when we came into government and went to Blackbush Polder, Minister Mustafa, who's in there a lot, the people said not one single road in Blackbush Polder was done during 2015 to 2020. How could people be so spiteful that you spite a whole community? Oh man, not even one? Go to Blackbush Polder right now. Go to Blackbush Polder right now. All the roads, the internal roads are being done. Some of them can't continue because of the rain. They're waiting to pour the concrete, but it's advancing. What am I saying to you? Every community, I stopped with the president at a NDC office of the road, was the one that is building over right now, that was dilapidated. And that is an NDC right up the road. The building was in bad shambles and they made representation. That office, that whole NDC office, is under construction right now, giving that community who was hopeless. And you know what the people are saying? The government that they voted for in 2015 to 2020 did not deliver to them what the government that they didn't vote for give to them in 2020 to 2024. You know what is it to vote for somebody and supported somebody and you are so disappointed they did nothing for you that you now have to come to the government who you practically voted against, think that they're not the best team. And everything you ask for, they are getting. That is the blessing of visionary leadership. That is the blessings of having a government that does not practice discrimination. That is the blessings of having a government that is inclusive and a government that looks out for all the people of Guyana. And our record is a proud record where we bring development across the length and breadth of Guyana in an even-handed manner. My colleague, the Honorable Susan Rodriguez, tells us about those who come around Shanghai and so on. Anybody could carry a gaff, you know. They got some people with fancy talk that's give to the girls. Girl, I is love you wherever you be, I bound to be are, and that kind of fancy talk and so on. You, some people just get feeling nice. But the reality is everybody know that when you finish the fancy talk, you got to look for the reality and the deliverables on the ground. Haters of the PNC, of the PPPC, strong PNC people are now coming and endorsing Irfan Ali for president to give him a next term. Happening across the country. The family is growing. So you know what that means? Now is not time for us to get petty dissatisfactions and trying to do fancy things. Now it's time for us to be solid, focused, sober thinking, and right acting to ensure the progress of Guyana continues. The APNU AFC had 10 years. I know a lot of people think it's 5 years, but it's really 10 years. 2011 to 2015, we could have hardly done anything because they had the one-seat majority when they combined their votes in the parliament. They cut the budget, they interfere with this. Some of the things that we are trying to do now, we could have done since then. We had a minority government. And then they became the government. And for 10 years, not only Berbies, but even people in the communities that voted solidly for them suffered. It was President Ali and Team PPPC brought back hope to the Guyanese people. People got a sparkle in their eyes. Men are talking loud. There is freedom everywhere. Oh yes, we're not perfect. But I'll tell you, we are good for Guyana. Guyana is better today because of President Ali and the PPPC. And we got to ensure that we continue to move that forward. We'll be coming back here in a couple of days to continue the infrastructural advancement, getting more contractors engaged to do other work. We are coming back to continue to ensure that we get things done, and we get things done in a proper way. We believe in value for money. We believe in transparency. We want proper accountability. We want good governance. Those are principles that we practice. And we are not ashamed of admitting when things didn't go right. We are not ashamed of fixing things when they come to our attention. This government, measured against any other, is one of the most responsive governments Guyana has ever had. This government. Some of you could communicate with the president directly with WhatsApp. Some of you could call your minister and get him on the phone. And you are seeing your ministers in every community, not just this year, but every single year, even during COVID. Even during COVID, the ministers were here. During the floods, the ministers were here. During the developments, the ministers are here. And what I'm here to tell you is, you got people who you know, who feel the way you feel, working class people who came from the ground just like you, understand your concerns, relate to your own issues, and we show the necessary empathy, and we get it fixed. Team PPPC is the team that you need to stay with, and don't experiment with another team. Let's continue to build Guyana. Let's continue to transform Guyana. Let's continue to modernize Guyana. And let's continue to work together as one family and make Guyana the gem of this part of the world, the place where everybody wants to come. God bless you, and let us continue to work together. My colleague, the Honorable Zulfikar Mustafa, will continue to engage you by making his remarks.
Thank you very much, Bishop. And Minister Bishop, end on a very high note. So first of all, I want to acknowledge our President, His Excellency, Dr. Mohammed Irfan Ali, my cabinet colleague, and other officials. But this afternoon is a very important afternoon here. I am very heartening to see the turnout, because what we are doing is nothing new. This has been an ongoing process since the PPP formed in 1950. The People's Progressive Party has a proud tradition of meeting with the people, listening to their concern, and take their proposal on board. And we are now doing the same very thing that Dr. Jagan and all the leaders started in 1950, and today our young, vibrant, and energetic president is continuing that process that started in 1950. But more than that, we have seen from 2020 to now, just 4.5 years, we have seen a total transformation of our country, especially your region, region number 6. Bishop, Minister Edgell, and Rodriguez spoke about the development in the housing sector and the public infrastructure, public works. We have seen almost every single street, and I can name the communities across this area here, places that were unknown to people in this country. Places like Topu, San Reef, Dr. Bush, High Reef, Guava Bush. All those areas now have paved road, good access, thanks to the PPP civic government. But more importantly, your livelihood. The people in this area depend solely on Gaisuko. There are a number of Gaisuko workers in this community. Over almost 3,200 persons are working at the Albion estate. And we have seen the last government, when they went to the elections campaign prior to the 2015 election, what they said? They said they will expand sugar. They say we'll give the sugar workers 20% increase, and they will make sugar one of the most important products of Guyana. What they did? Well, when they got into government, they closed 4 sugar estates. 4 sugar estates, Wales, Enmore, Rosal, and Skeldon. I was saying at Rosal just now, when the estate was closed at Rosal the last year, it produces 21,000 tons of sugar. That was the work that we did when we were in government prior to 2015. And the estate was working very optimal. Also, Skeldon Estate, that's supposed to be the flagship estate of Gaisuko, and where all of them are criticizing, produced that year, the last year that estate operated, produced 31,000 tons of sugar. Imagine if we were in government from 2015 continuously, Gaisuko would have been one of the premier industry in this country. We were in opposition, and our president at that time, he was the representative of the opposition when they had a so-called consultation at the office of the president. And at that consultation, he raised the issue when they said that they will close these estates. He raised the issue about a social economic impact studies. That means when the estate closed, what will become of the workers? The APNUAFC and the champion at that time, Nagamutu and Ramjatan, said there was nothing, that is not important. They closed the sugar estate. And 7,500 sugar workers were placed on the breadline. I am mentioning these things so that we can refresh our memory. Today we are seeing the false prophets are coming again. They are coming again to tell our people that they will do this. You heard Minister Rodriguez said that when we give 100,000 grant, they said they could increase it to 200,000. Well, they said they're going to give sugar workers at that time 20% increase. Not a single cent. From 2015 to 2020, sugar worker didn't receive a cent increase from the APNUAFC government. But I am proud to tell you, every single year from 2020, in August, when we got into government, every single year, sugar workers are getting increases in their wages and salary from this government. We have seen, they said that they will expand the agriculture sector. They will expand the rice industry. They will make rice profitable. They will give $9,000 a bag for paddy. Nagamutu said that at DTV8. To $9,000 a bag when they got into government, what they did. President Granger said rice is a private business. That there's a business between the rice farmers and the rice miller, and government doesn't have anything to do with that. Rice price went down as low as $2,100 in 2019. Today, although we have seen the world market price declining, and the rice farm millers and exporters are receiving less for rice, this government, the PPP civic government, is guaranteeing all rice farmers at least $4,000 a bag for their paddy. That will, the amount of paddy expected to produce this crop, that will be a substantial amount, a substantial contribution from the government. That is the kind of interest. That is the kind of way we work. We work with all the strata, all sections of society, every single sector. We want to ensure that we develop these sectors. In your community, we know for a fact, Albion or Kilkay, Hampshire, is an NDC, one of the largest NDC. You have a lot of demands in this area. And the president, the cabinet was looking to see how we can bring more empowerment to the people in these areas so that the NDCs and municipalities can perform better. The president instructed that every single local government body in this country be provided with, first of all, a mini excavator so that all the internal drains in the community, the NDC can maintain. Your NDC received one of those. We are now giving out force defense to fire. We are giving out fire engines and fire vehicles within the NDCs so that they can be the first line of defense when you have fires in the community. We are training workers, volunteers to operate these things. We are now looking to give garbage disposal vehicles, garbage trucks, to ensure that your garbage are collected in a timely manner. So you could see all these things besides the opportunities that my comrades then spoke about. When you look at public works, you look at health and education, you look at housing, it's tremendous development. And Region 6 is a region like all other regions across this country. We are seeing massive development. The entire landscape is been changing in these regions. I can mention, Bishop talked about the 4-lane highway. You heard a number of other mega and large development plan. Work have already started in most of these projects. For example, as I'm speaking now, we are constructing in Region 6 a number of pump stations. But besides that, we are now looking and we are constructing 2 high-level canals in Region 6. You know, when you go to Georgetown, you pass the Hope Light Canal, that Hope Canal. We are doing 2 of those canals in Region 6 so that we can drain the area when we have heavy rainfall. We can mitigate flooding because we know Region 6 is an important agricultural area. And when we have heavy rainfall, a number of farmers just lose their crops and livestock. With the construction of these high-level canals, we'll have drainage 24 hours, and that will be a high-level drainage right onto the Atlantic. The water from the backland will not be coming into the cultivation and housing area drainage system to put more stress on those systems. But those high-level canals will drain directly to the Atlantic. We have already built an embankment from number 66 right on to Kanji so that the backland, we can keep away the water from the backland to drain in that high-level canal. During the dry period, those canals will act as a reservoir for farmers to get irrigation. These are the work that we have been doing. Region 6, with the construction of these high-level canals, we will open up approximately 35,000 new acres of land right around this area. Those lands will be opened up to farmers. And we are now modernizing the sector. We are changing the way how we used to do agriculture. We are making agriculture easier. We are modernizing it. We are bringing latest technology. So much so, young people who would have gone to the University of Guyana and the Guyana School of Agriculture and who are not engaged in agriculture, today we have hundreds of those people are engaging in agriculture thanks to His Excellency the President that formed a company called the Agriculture Innovation Entrepreneurship Program, where young people today are making their livelihood from agriculture. These are the transformation that we are talking about. So, ladies and gentlemen, I know for a fact that during this period, leading up to the elections, and many of them will come around. Some of them who can't even speak a proper sentence will come around and say, make me the president. Some of them will come again and will try to fool you. But we have passed through the experience, we had the experience already. You give them a chance in 2015. From 2015 to 2020, what it did, the entire country was suffering in every single sector, not only sugar, not only agriculture, the entire infrastructure was in a dilapidated state. Housing was non-existent, no new housing scheme. The health sector was in decline. Education was in decline, every single sector. And today, we are seeing massive transformation taking place. So when they come to you, remember who have your interests at heart. Remember who was there before. remember this party, the People's Progressive Party, the party of Chedi Jagan, the party that won independence for Guyana, the party that fought against dictatorship, 28 years of dictatorship, the party that transformed this country from 1992 to 2015, and again from 2020, when we had the election and our democratic right were threatened. This party stood with you. The President, His Excellency Dr. Mohammed Irfan Ali, and the leadership of the People's Progressive Party stood with you, fought with you, and in August of 2020, we prevailed, and Dr. Mohammed Irfan Ali became the president of our country. Since then, we have seen massive transformation taking place. And let us, in our silent time, let us reiterate, let us put and look at what we have done from 2020 and what they did from 2015 to 2020. Let's make that comparison. Somebody say 5 years. Yes, but we didn't have them for 4.5 years. When we took over this country, 2 years we had to spend to deal with COVID. And these developments that have been taking place and are taking place in this country, this is only 2.5 years of development. Imagine if we had a full 5 years. So I'm asking you this afternoon, make your judgment, do your analysis, look at the record, look at the party that have your interests at heart, look at the president who is here in flesh and blood with you, no cardboard president. Look at the president that comes out of his house 4 o'clock in the morning to go and look at people's interests around the country. Look at the president that have your interests at heart. And then, when you do that, you will give our president, Dr. Mohammed Irfan Ali, and the PPP Civic another chance to continue the development of our country. Ladies and gentlemen, I will pause here and hand you over to my colleague, Dr. Ashni Singh.
Thank you very much, Comrade Zulfikar Mustafa, Minister of Agriculture and Executive Secretary of the People's Progressive Party. Mr. President, Cabinet colleagues, Regional Chairman, Mr. Master of Ceremonies, regional officials, MDC officials, and most of all, of course, my dear brothers and sisters, comrades and friends. Much has already been said by all of my colleagues who have spoken before me. But that notwithstanding, much more can be said. And as I look around this audience today, I see so many familiar faces, faces who have been members and supporters of the People's Progressive Party for decades, and the faces of younger comrades, many of whom I know will perhaps be voting for the very first time in 2025. I want, first of all, to address the more senior comrades. Notice I'm not saying the older comrades, but the more senior comrades. And I want to say to you that we in the cabinet and the leadership of our party, comprising, of course, our president, our general secretary, our executive secretary, and the executive committee of the party, we want to say to you, thank you very much for standing with the People's Progressive Party over the decades. We know that you know that there is no other party that has the vision, the competence and capability, and the commitment to improve the lives of the Guyanese people. And it takes all of those things. It takes vision, it takes competence, and it takes commitment. You have some people that have all sorts of ideas. All sorts of ideas. When you talk to them, they have the answer to every problem. But they are unable to execute even the smallest of solutions. Over the years, we have demonstrated successive leaders of the People's Progressive Party, successive PPPC presidents, starting from Dr. Cherry Jagan, coming to Dr. Mohammed Irfan Ali, and in between the two of them, of course, Dr. Bharat Jagdeo, each in his respective moment, articulating a remarkably exciting vision for our country at the respective time. And I know that you will agree with me that the man of the moment, the man who is best equipped to do the job today is none other than Dr. Mohammed Irfan Ali, our dear president. You will hear more about the incredibly exciting vision that he has, and you've been hearing it every day. But when he speaks in a few minutes, you will hear more of the incredibly exciting vision that he has for Region 6 and for Guyana as a whole. You have seen the dedication with which he has translated his vision into action. Every day, he's in one community after another. Every day. I said at the last meeting, sometimes you don't know if you're there two places one time. I said it at the last meeting, sometimes you see him in Region 3, and by the time you blink, he's there Region 10. And then when you blink again, before you blink, he's there Region 6. And we have demonstrated over the last 5 years, 4 years, recognizing that our country faced a 5-year period of destruction in every sector. President Ali came to government, came to the presidency on the 2nd of August 2020, and immediately set about reversing all of the oppressive measures that the APN UAFC had implemented while they were in government. And you stood with the People's Progressive Party, and you have continued to stand with us. And we want to thank you very much for that. You are President Ali, General Secretary Jagdeo, members of President Ali's cabinet. We may be the public faces of the party, but you are the strength and backbone of the People's Progressive Party. To our young people, and I see a lot of young people here today, I want to say to you that there has never been a time in our country's history that it has been more exciting to be a young Guyanese person than this time. We are meeting at the Albion Sports Complex. Comrade Zulfi just reminded us of how historic this ground is. Some of our greatest cricketers have come out of this ground. And as you know, as I said yesterday at another event, and I say this without any fear of contradiction, Guyana has never had a president more committed to young people and to sports in particular than President Ali. As you know, he's a keen sportsman. And if the West Indies Cricket Board had called him up, we might have lost him to politics. So although he had the potential, and we all know he has the potential if you see him on the cricket field, I must confess I'm glad that the West Indies Board didn't call him up. so that we can have him serving us in another capacity. But if you look only at what President Ali has done for sports, because there's so many young people here, and because we're meeting at Albion Sports Complex, if you look at what President Ali has done for sports alone, we could stand up here whole night and talk that story. Look at Region 6. All the years, the people of Berbice in the old days, you gotta start at 2 o'clock in the morning and go wait a stelling for catch boat, for go border, for watch cricket. Then, of course, a previous PPP government built the bridge. But you still got to wake up early and get in your car or your bus and go Providence for see the 2020 match or to see the one-day match. Very soon, people will be coming from the rest of Guyana to come to Berbice to see international cricket at Palmyra. Thanks to President Ali. That is what you call vision. Berbice will be home of our premier sporting destination, no less than the Providence Stadium, a grand international stadium at Palmyra, in the center of a major new urban development, hotels, malls, the Guyana Cultural Market, the National Cultural Market, housing areas, and these are not ideas. They're being built. Every time you drive past or walk past Palmyra Public Road there, you can see it. That is vision and competence. Every single sports ground on the Quarantine Coast, not just on the Quarantine Coast, from East Bank, Berbice, all the way to Oriala and Siparuta, every single sports ground we have inspected. We have identified works to upgrade them, and we are upgrading them. We have already spent over $900 million to upgrade sports grounds in Region 6, and this year we'll be spending another $700 million, creating opportunities for our young people. But the opportunities that President Ali is creating for our young people are not confined to sports or to cricket. They're certainly not confined to cricket because he's supporting every sport. Football, he has a vision for football. He has a vision for basketball. He has a vision for table tennis. He has a vision for volleyball. But his vision for young people is not confined only to sports. If you look at educational and training opportunities, we can spend whole night here talking about that alone. Not far from here at Port Morant, we are building what will become the technical and vocational training capital of Guyana and the Caribbean. Port Morant, as you know, has always had a famous technical training school. The Gaisuko Training School has produced some of the world's best technicians. It already has a reputation for training good quality technicians. President Ali has said that he wants to locate in Port Morant our country's best technical training institutions. We have already built phase 1 of the Guyana Technical Training College, which houses the National Oil and Gas Institute, which is already training young Guyanese people for high-paying and high-quality jobs in the oil and gas sector. They leave that training institute and they walk straight into a job in the oil and gas sector. They have there, right there, a simulated environment like the offshore platform. It is like they're on the platform themselves, right there in Port Morant. ExxonMobil has said that the Port Morant School, the Guyana Technical Training College, will be their global center of excellence for offshore and deep sea oil exploration and production training. One of only 10 in the entire world located right here in Port Morant, available for the people, the young boys and girls of Region 6 to attend. We are building a brand new hospital at New Amsterdam, which will also be a teaching hospital. So our young people can go there and do their rotations and become doctors right there. And on top of that, we are building a new nursing school, also in New Amsterdam, so that young people from Region 6 and Region 5, and indeed further afield if they want to come to New Amsterdam, can be trained right here and become professionally certified nurses. As a matter of fact, we are also delivering some of the training programs online and using hybrid mode so you can do some of the training programs at home. President Ali has said on multiple occasions, anybody who wants a job as a nurse and has the entry requirements is guaranteed an opportunity of free training and guaranteed an opportunity to get a job once they complete the training. And I could go on and on and on, but all I want to say to you simply, because I know you didn't come to hear from me. I know they didn't hear, Mr. President, I can promise you, they didn't come to hear from me. I know that they didn't come to hear from me today. They might come to hear from me on another day. But I know today they didn't come to hear from me. Comrades and friends, I simply want to say, to add my own voice of thanks to all of you for standing with your party, for ensuring the protection and preservation of democracy, and for ensuring that there is a government in office that is concerned about serving the people of Guyana. I want to thank you for that support historically, and I want to thank you in anticipation of that support going forward. Thank you very much, and allow me now very simply to hand the microphone over to His Excellency, the President of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana, Dr. Mohammed Irfan Ali. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Please have your seats. Thank you very much. I know it's getting late, and let me use this platform here to apologize to the thousands of persons who are assembling for the Eid dinner in Georgetown. I know that I was supposed to get back there in time, but as you can see, it is now almost 6, and we have not finished this meeting as yet. I have another meeting, so I think that they will understand that we are doing the government work, the people work here today. But you know, it's so interesting coming back here to Albion. And as Ashley said, comparing just 6 years ago, the mood in Berbice. Comparing 6 years ago, what was the major issue on the minds of the people in Berbice? And 2 women came to me at the last meeting, and they said, Mr. President, we will support the PPP again. Not because of what you have done alone, but more importantly, once again, parents now have hope for their children in Region 6. Families have hope again. And it struck me that we take this for granted, that just 5 years ago, this region had lost hope in the economy, lost hope in every sphere of national life because you were cut off from national development. People were wondering, how would I keep my children in school? They were wondering, how would I meet my bank payments? The rice farmers in this region were losing their assets to the bank. One of the first meetings we had when we came into office with Sulfi, and later when Ashley came back, was to meet with the banks. You know what? For them to defer the loans for rice farmers. Coming here just 5 years ago, community leaders were asking us to organize hampers for families, to organize books for children to go to school, to organize shoes and sneakers. That was what was on your mind. Today, 5 years, less than 5 years after, what are you talking about? Big things. You're talking about better jobs, more roads, better school, digitization, computerization. You're talking about things that are completely different. And do not take that for granted. Do not take that for granted. Ask yourselves. You're not talking about getting water. You're talking about having access to treated water, and you deserve it. And we'll invest to ensure that every Guyanese have access to treated water. You're not talking about what my child will do. We're talking about what we can do for your children. The conversation is much different today. Imagine this government can come to you today and say to you that any one of you here, your child, your children, once they have 3 subjects, CXC and more, we will pay them to study nursing. We will give them a stipend to study nursing. And when they finish, a job is guaranteed at a minimum of $170,000 today. Where else? And if they don't have that, we will train them, we'll upgrade their education and put them in the patient care program. And we're not stopping there, because we want your children to aspire higher, knowing that right in this region, we're going to invest to meet their aspirations. That is why we're investing in a nursing school, in a medical school. We're working to bring the pharmacy program, the dental program, the dentistry program, the medical technologist program, the engineering programs. Those programs must come to your children here in Region 6, and we are going to make the investment to ensure that those programs come to your children in Region 6. There is no excuse. There is absolutely no excuse in this modern world that would disallow a child in Region 6 to study any field of study that the University of Guyana is offering. We have made it free. We're going to make the further investment in the labs and other facilities that are required to ensure that every subject area is available for every child across this country, including Region 6. Because that is what is in our minds. We are not like proud peacocks lifting our tails every day and walking around. Every single day, we are looking at ways in which we can continue the investment to uplift the lives of our people. And you know, I was just looking at a brief analysis of what your future will look like. I'm not even going to talk about the whole of Region 6. But before I get there, let me say this to you. We have fulfilled completely our manifesto. Every single thing. And we're delivering above and beyond the manifesto. In the last 72 hours alone, we have announced 3 major initiatives. One, for every single child, we are going to pay completely for 8 subjects CXC for them. We're going to pay for 8 subjects CAPE examination for every single child. And where is Saddam? How much is the 8 subjects? $42,000 around? $47,000. So if you have 2 children, that's almost $100,000 additional dollars we are transferring to that family. We went further. When we came on the outreaches, we know that the NIS was a big issue. And those persons who did not meet the contribution, I announced that we're transferring $10 billion so that in the coming weeks and months ahead, you will get a direct cash transfer from 500 to 749. And I want you to hold on to some of your money because we are going to create innovative investment opportunity for you, everyone in Guyana, because the future that we are building will give every Guyanese an opportunity to invest in that future so that they own part of that future that we are building. And let us look at a short journey from the Edward to Albion. I am not even going to tell you about the whole of Region 6. I just want to give you the short journey. You're going to drive over a brand new 4-lane bridge, the new Barbies River Bridge. You ain't got no truck weight limitation. You don't have any of those issues. You don't have any closing or opening. You have constant flow, and it will be built to, just like the Demerara River, to ensure that the Barbies River is developed and port facilities and the riverfront development is part of the holistic development. So you start with a 4-lane road, a deep water harbor with a second gas project that will come on stream, that will have a new power plant integrated with a substation and the other power plants that we are building. That substation is more than $400 million investment that we are already spending. So what that will bring is industrial development, manufacturing development, processing facility, giving us the opportunity to have excess power to capitalize on the bauxite reserve between Guyana and Suriname, 1.5 billion tons of bauxite reserve, so we can process it and develop it into an aluminum facility. And we already have proposal that is coming on stream for the second gas project for a major urea project. The excess energy will go into data centers to power AI. That is the future I'm telling you about. Thousands of acres, thousands of new jobs will be created. Then you go to New Amsterdam, a state-of-the-art new teaching hospital with a medical school, a nursing school, converting the old hospital also into a facility that would be a living facility for nurses and also dealing with mental health. Going further into New Amsterdam, already we have a consortium being formed between John Finance and Munishwar. Others may be added that are going to invest in the first phase of a port facility, more than $225 million of investment that will employ 1,000 persons, and we have not left there as yet. This facility, of course, will be linked to the Quarantine River Bridge. And then we go to Palmyra, tens of thousands of new homes. When you have new homes, you have new families. When you have new families, you have more spending, more demand in the economy, new hotels, entertainment complex, a modern stadium, new hospital, malls, hardware store, an entire commercial block, a national cultural market. That is what we're talking about, and we have not reached Albion as yet. A comprehensive plan of action and development for this region. You will have the nursing school, the medical school, and the Guyana Digital School. The Guyana Digital School will allow every single child to learn on a digital platform, because every child must be able to function in a digital environment, because the world is going towards a digital future. Every single child will be in a learning environment 24/7, and you will have, before the end of May, the digital school will be launched right here in Barbies. And then you will have the 4-lane road from New Amsterdam all the way to Molson Creek. And we have already awarded the 4-lane roads around Palmyra, around the stadium, the building out of the tarmac so you can have your super concerts right here in Region 6 $5 billion we're spending on building out that infrastructure to support the stadium. That is what we're talking about. That is what we're talking about. A clear plan. A clear plan. A complete vision as to the development that we are pursuing. Outside of that, you'll have the private hospital that is being built. And then to support all of this, you will have the regional and municipal airport at Rose Hall, converting that facility into, just like Ogle, a regional and municipal airport. That will create hundreds of jobs and will help us now to move our produce directly to the regional market, linking regional traffic with international traffic. That is the future we are talking about. And that is what leads us into Albion. So this is not a future that we can, in any way, shape, or form, gamble with. And you know, I said earlier that an important aspect of your life is dignity. Dignity. And we also, whilst we change the country, we have to change our mindset. We have to change the way we think and act and behave. We have to stop the violence against women. We have to be more family-oriented. We have to be more community-oriented. We have to be more conscious. We have to drink less alcohol. Because that will pop you up every time in a crowd. We have to drink less. We have to ensure that we live healthier lifestyle, because health and wellness is important. We want you to take care of yourself so that you can enjoy for a longer life the beauty and prosperity of your country. We're investing to give you better pension, higher pension, better health care, because we want you to live longer, not shorter. But you also have to take the responsibility of your life in your hands too. We have to change the way we behave and act. We have to become conscious of our environment. We have to be responsible in what we do and how we do it. And this party takes on these weighty subjects that everybody else will avoid. I can stand here and speak about these issues because we care about you. We care about the population. I can pretend that these issues do not exist. But what would that do for you or for me? It is only those who care about you will identify shortcomings for all of us to improve. We are not perfect. There are still challenges and weaknesses. But every day we are working on fixing those challenges and weaknesses. Because humans were never born in perfection. It is sin that got us into imperfection. So my dear friends, we can speak about every single community. Every single community we can speak to directly on a plan that we have for that community. Hundreds of millions of dollars will look in Albion alone. Hundreds of millions of dollars transferred. I'm not going to tell you about the $5 billion we're spending to modernize the Albion estate and the modernizing of the fields and the packaging plant. Outside of that, hundreds of millions of dollars we have spent in supporting pensioners. The Because We Care grant that we give back to your children and exceeded what we say we'll give them, that was taken away from them. The subsidy on electricity and water, the removal of VAT on electricity and water. These are things we cannot take for granted. Every single time we invest, every single time we invest in a road or a light or improving our drainage, the property price goes up. Ask yourself a question. What was the property price 5 years ago? And what is the property price today? You know why it went up? It went up because the government invested in increasing and improving value throughout the country. And don't take that for granted. If you have a property that you could have gone to the bank 5 years ago and only got $5 million, and that same property, you can go to the bank now and get $40 million. What does it tell you? Your net value has improved. Your net position in life has improved. These are things we take for granted. The interest on housing loans has reduced by 4 percentage points. 4 percentage points in the last 4 years. Low-income loans, now 3%. These are things we take for granted. Your children now have access to a better future because of these very things. I promise you I will not be long, but let me say a few things more. Here in Albion, we know that there are some issues. There's very ground, very beautiful ground now with your lights and your outfield, but we're not done as yet. Despite the fact that we're building a brand new stadium, I've asked the Minister of Finance to now start in the supplementary provision of this year to set aside money to do back all the stands of this ground so that we can get back your stands going. I've asked him to set aside money to build a hostel facility here for a cricket academy and for cricketers around the region to come here so they can stay and train here, building this into a cricketing center of excellence in Guyana. That is what we're talking about. I've asked him to find the money so that we can clean up this entire outskirt here, so that we can pave it and build facilities that families can come in the afternoon and sit down with their children in a safe environment, playing volleyball, playing basketball. That is what we want. Healthier life, people enjoying a better quality of life. And I've asked the Minister of Public Works to start supporting in doing that by getting this entire facility ready in a beautiful manner so that your children can enjoy. Look at all the parks we are building. The beauty it's creating, the family space it's creating. Don't take these things for granted. Don't take them for granted. Don't be pop-up engineers. Don't be pop-up critics. Understand the bigger picture. Understand the bigger picture and what is at stake in that bigger picture. Some people collect the 100,000 grant and say, "I still not get nothing." Some people will go on the road and drive on the road and still say they ain't get nothing. They will get a bill in their hands every month without VAT on electricity and water that was removed by this government and still ain't get nothing. Some people will go to the shop and the supermarket and benefit from the 200 taxes we removed that they placed on you and still say they didn't get anything. Some people will have family members who are working in their estates and earning income once more in their life and still didn't get anything. They will have children who are benefiting from the Because We Care grant and still did not get anything. But that is human nature. That is human nature. One of the greatest things that we can do as human beings, but it's still the hardest thing, is to have a sense of gratefulness and to be grateful for what is before us. If, as people, we are driven by gratefulness, we will have greater satisfaction in life. Instead of us being grateful for 2 sheep in our yard, we're worrying about the neighbor who got 2 cows. Gratefulness is not an art. Gratefulness is part of our character. If you look at people who are grateful, those persons would always have a special glare and glamour that surrounds them. They will have an aura of satisfaction that surrounds them. They will never be angry because they are even grateful for the fact that they're alive. But when I sometimes listen to some of the comments, I ask myself, have we lost our our consciousness? Did we lose our consciousness? Your children's future is not to be gambled with. When you put your ex next to the party that you want to lead you, you're putting your trust into that party. You're putting your dignity into that party to do what is right for your children, your parents, your family, your community, and your country. And imagine that you're putting your trust and dignity into something, and then someone comes and tries to steal it. One of the greatest violations that one can feel is when somebody walks into your house and steal what you have. Your vote is your dignity, your honor, your trust, and your pride. And when you place that vote in 2020, and the APNU AFCs try to steal it, and we and you have to stand up and fight them from stealing your dignity, from tampering with your dignity and your trust, that tells you something deep. That tells you that they have no value for your dignity. They have no value for your trust. Ask yourself a question. Why can't they campaign on their record? When you ask them about what they did in government and all the promises they betrayed, their answer is, that is the past, let's concentrate on the future. Why can't they answer for their record? We can answer for every single record we have when we're in government, because this is the party that fought every good fight for this country, for independence, against colonization, against dictatorship, against racism. This is the party that unites all of Guyana. So my friends, my respected elders, my brothers and sisters, first of all, let me also take this time to thank all the local leaders, to thank all those leaders who came before me, before all of us, those that sacrificed and worked hard to bring Guyana where it is today, and to acknowledge their contribution, and to say we stand on their shoulders as we continue to build a stronger and more beautiful Guyana. So here in Albion, we're going to fix this ground, the stands, the lights in the community. Every single street and highway will get lights. We have launched that program already this year. You have drainage issues. We have given the NDC an excavator that will be permanently placed in this NDC to help you with your drainage. You have water quality concerns. Right now, they're going to do an inline filter to connect the new Chesney well to your area here in Albion so that you will get treated water. That's $120 million we're going to invest to ensure that you get treated water here. And that project will commence when? It will finish by the end of this month. So by May, you will have treated water coming through your taps. It's been tested this week. Give me the first glass, let me drink it. Bring it for me now. Is it ready? Okay. What future you want for your children? What future you want for your grandparents? And who can you trust with that future? Who can you rely on to fulfill whatever they say they will do? Ask your conscience that, but don't ask yourself. Ask your conscience. Take a deep breath. Be honest to yourself. And once you ask your conscience that, I don't have to worry or we don't have to worry, because your conscience will tell you what is right. Not your emotions, not the, what is called them quarter water? Half quarter and quarter, half and I know. Don't let the alcohol speak for you. Don't let that speak for you. Let your conscience speak to you and for you. That is what we want to do. Now, also here in Albion, you have the swamp shrimp project. We know that you have about 150 fisher folk? 150 fisher folk we have here. I've given the Ministry of Agriculture instructions next week to start the conversion of 30 acres of land to produce swamp shrimp so that our fisher folk will have a swamp shrimp project right here. We will put all the investment in. That will generate in a year more than $90 million in revenue. That is what we're doing. Creating opportunities. I've asked them to see whether the aquaculture project can work here. We want to replant 500 acres of new coconut plantation in Berbice. And here in Albion, I've asked them to get 50 acres before the end of this year. We must work with single mothers, and they are going to own the plantation. We will come up with a formula through which the single mothers will own the plantation. We're going to invest in that 50 acres. In every acre, you'll have about 3,500, in every acre, in the 50 acres, you will have 3,500 coconut plants. 3,500 coconut plants. We're going to give you we're going to put the machine to prepare the land, and we're going to bring the planting material. All you have to do is to take care of it after that. 50 acres owned by women. That is how we're empowering people. That is what we are doing to create new wealth and disposable income. Real projects, real initiative to transform the lives of every single citizen, every single household. Investing in agro-processing. If we have 100 families who want a shade house in the backyard, we'll put the shade house in the backyard so you can plant your celery. Celery was how much? $1,800 a pound the other day. 800 now. You can't plant catar in the shade house. So we have to, these are the things that we want to do. We want to find ways in which we'll co-invest with the people. So when people are busy doing all kinds of activities on social media, we are busy thinking about how we can do better for the people. So my dear friends, it's already 6:30. I didn't want to speak long. But I want to say to you how grateful I am for your presence here today. In the rain and now so late. And I want you to know that we do not take this for granted. We do not take your love and your support and your time for granted. We respect highly your time, your love, and your support. We are grateful for all my elders who are out here today. We are grateful for your continued support. Together, we will do better. Together, we'll be stronger. Forward together for a better Guyana. Thank you very much, and God bless all of you.